Hey guys, this is just a quick video that I can get done while I work on some larger projects. Today I want to talk about 10 battles that I believe Death Battle will end up doing in the future. These aren't battles I necessarily want, but there are battles that I think are likely for them to do based on the commonality of request, common trends, and legacy of the matchup itself. For instance, some characters like Voltron, Venom, Kakashi, Aquaman, and Aang were obvious as to who they'd end up battling due to the proliferation of the matchups that ended up happening. The most hilarious of which I find is people complaining about Venom vs. Bane when I literally saw that as 90% of the requests for both characters, so it's just funny. Now, Death Battle isn't immune to throwing curveballs. Everyone thought Green Lantern would fight Nova, or that Black Canary would fight Banshee or Black Bolt, or that Genos and War Machine would fight characters that are actually in similar leagues of power and have actual similarities. However, here are 10 battles I believe Death Battle will end up eventually doing sometime in the future, this season or the next. First off, we're not including these confirmed death battles. These are 100% confirmed. Galactus vs. Unicron, Ruby Rose vs. Maka Alban, Dio Brando vs. Alucard from Helsing, and Wiz vs. Boomstick. Additionally, I'm not going to include characters who were shown off at the end of last season who have yet to appear, namely Beerus and Krona. Let's go in no particular order. Number 10, Mr. Fantastic vs. Plastic Man. I don't think I need to explain. These two stretch, it's Marvel vs. DC, it's a common matchup people often bring up like Aquaman vs. Namor and Green Arrow vs. Hawkeye. Honestly, I don't mind these sort of Marvel vs. DC matchups, the ones that are like legacy matchups that people have been having for since the comics came out, comparing how similar these characters are, and now it's just a death battle. I know some people do get tired of Marvel vs. DC and or Marvel and DC, and I get it, but they're gonna do them. Made peace with it, and simply due to how often this matchup is requested, I won't bemuse them if they did do it. Still, Mr. Fantastic with the ultimate nullifier stomps. Number 9, Star Butterfly vs. Steven Universe. I know nothing about these two. I have not seen either show, but I see this being requested a lot, and I think they're both done. At least I'm assuming there won't be yet another Steven Universe sequel I won't foresee. I don't know. I think both of their shows are done. They're finished. Who wins? I don't know. Who do I want to win? Don't care. Will it happen? Probably, and it might even be this season. This one could be this season. Number 8, Shoto Todoroki vs. Prince Zuko. Of these matchups, this is the one that I care the most about. I like Todoroki, I have a lot of fun writing him in Hero Arc Abridged, and I helped Tyrant Bacon develop his Todoroki voice, which does make me happy. And also Zuko is my favorite character in Atla. Though I think Todoroki wins, right? Don't take this as gospel. I've done no research. And if you're going to tell me I'm wrong, that's fine, because I want Zuko to win. Todoroki's flames have been I think have been stated more powerful than Endeavor's, who beat High End, who is multi-city via scaling to Best Genus, I think it was, who... Was it Best Genus, or was it Certain... No, Best Genus is the one who's... Yeah, Best Genus is the one. I got confused with Sir Night Eye for a moment, even though they're very different. Todoroki's also got Ice, which is a unique advantage, and it overpowered the breath of a guy whose fire is stronger than Todoroki's. Fucking... Mantic? Chimera. I think it's Chimera. I do think Zuko's faster. He's got the lightning timing feats. I don't know. Can you scale Zuko to Aang? I don't think you can scale him to Aang. You can scale him to Azula. But I don't know if he matched the Avatar Aang, a city-level minimum threat. As long as you ignore the Avatar that also moved an island. Really, I don't know. Todoroki has city block level attack and minimum, I think, and resistance to fire. Probably no resistance to the swords that Zuko's got. He's not a tank like Deku or Bakugo, and not even close to Kirishima. But Zuko's faster. Unless you for some reason scaled the Todoroki to Kaminari's lightning, which would be weird. I don't know, this is not a debate video. Anyway, I do think this would be interesting. There are some parallels here. Both of them, of course, have a very similar distinctive scar on their faces, which came from Hot Things. Both of them have very bad relations with their father of whom being responsible for the scar, although in Todoroki's case his mother did it, but she did it tangentially because of the father's actions. It's a weaker connection, but it's there. Both, of course, wield fire in their arsenals as a big part of their abilities. I failed to English for a moment there. They started off moody, lonely, and aggressive towards the cheerful main protagonist, both seeking to take down the protagonist, who themselves wield a power unique to them and their predecessors, allowing them abilities passed through generations that can also enter a superpowered state for deep emotional reasons brought upon by their fathers. Todoroki obviously wishes to beat Deku without using his left side, because Deku's abilities are similar to All Might, whom his father Endeavor could never beat. So to Todoroki, him beating Deku with only his ice is him rejecting his father and rising above him. And Zuko obviously wants to recover his honor that was stripped from him. I don't know what that voice was. That sounded nothing like anything related to Atla. And both of them went through emotional turmoil as a result of their endeavors, although Zuko's had more quality and quantity with his, so... Anyway, both of them technically succeeded in their goals, but they weren't triumphant. Todoroki did beat Deku, but he also had to use his left side, and Zuko did get the Avatar, but this also cost him a great deal of emotional stress and his uncle. Eventually, both were able to get past their issues and become permanent fixers and allies with the main protagonist and his gang of peeps. So all in all, I do think this is a fairly decent matchup, and the fact that I give a shit about both of them makes it all the better. But I kind of hope there's some scaling or hacks I don't know about that gives Zuko the win, because he really is just Todoroki but better. Number 7, Atrocitus vs. Red Hulk. I have no interest in this fight. It's not impossible that either of these guys could end up fighting Broly instead, in which case poor Red Hulk, he's the only one of these guys that can't fly, to my knowledge. Anyway, yeah, it's another Marvel vs. DC, which is why I believe it's more likely than Broly versus either of them. Also because, an analysis of Broly's powers is either going to be obscure, irrelevant, or boring. Either it's old Broly, in which case it's irrelevant because he's not even the fan-favorite incarnation anymore, and if it's new Broly, it's boring because aside from these 4 moments, Broly being punched through the mountains, Broly blasting space, explosion, Broly blowing up the Arctic, and Broly moving all this water by screaming, and Broly breaking reality, Broly's power is just all scaling, and scaling's good. I like scaling. It's important to properly measure characters. However, when there's no feats for an individual character and no numbers you can put on screen, it can be kind of boring, and it can be hard to quantify. If someone's very new to verses, or they don't know what X things mean, it can be hard for them to grasp how powerful Jiren is when he shakes the infinite void, which is a viable feat that you could use if you were doing Jiren. Broly probably can't scale to that at all, but how do you quantify any of Broly's feats? 4 of them are way below where he should be, and it's hard to quantify the reality breaking. So if you put any numbers based on these, they're going to have no meaning because, well, they're way below anything Broly could technically actually do with his full power. And all of these feats were done before Broly reached his full strength anyway. And also, both of those guys are irrelevant, and this one's the obscure one, because the strongest version is Dark Broly, and no one gives a shit about Dark Broly. Anyways, Atrocitus vs. Red Hulk, Angry Red, Raging Red, they are villains and they fight green heroes who also have anger issues. They're gonna do this fight. Number 6, Red Hood vs. Winter Soldier. Oh, it's the most requested fight for either, both of which being extremely popular Dark Horse characters, as in the TV tropes Dark Horse is a sort of less important, not as often seen character that everyone loves, and not Dark Horse comics. Honestly, this might even become the live-action battle for this season. I don't know, I hope not. I don't care about this fight. This isn't quite the old-school argument Mr. Fantastic vs. Plastic Man is, although I significantly like Red Hood and Winter Soldier more than these two, but, these guys first came out in 2005, both of them. At least Red Hood as Jason Todd first appeared in 2005, and Bucky Barnes as the Winter Soldier first appeared in 2005. They're very recent compared to Mr. Fantastic's first appearance in 1961 and Plastic Man's in 1941. Although, also I guess Atrocitus first appeared in 2007 and Red Hulk first became the Red Hulk in 2008, I guess. Number 5, Dumbledore vs. Gandalf. Let's be honest, nobody will be shocked when they do this, but also, I'd get it if they take longer on this. I mean, books, right? No, but really, they need to avoid the pitfall they landed in with Harry Potter, where they used the movie version almost exclusively. I've never read the book, but apparently Harry doesn't even do non-verbal magic. But, Dumbledore, it actually matters less, because, he just scales to Voldemort destroying Hogwarts. Oh, Dumbledore can destroy Hogwarts too. What about Gandalf? Oh, yeah. Balrogs can not only fly and move at Mach 5.6 via, calculating feats from the Silmarillion book, and Gandalf fought this guy for days, man. But, Durin's Bane is fucking strong, guys. You don't even know. Not only did, obviously, it slaughtered the entire population of the Mines of Moria, but the Balrogs combined drove off Ungoliant, a demon spider that had absorbed the power of a tree that literally created the sun and the moon. even with Durin's Bane being the weakest, even if we assume Durin's Bane only added 10% of the power needed to take down Ungoliant, and that power was itself only 10% of Ungoliant herself, and we assume that the power Ungoliant absorbed from the tree was only equivalent to one fruit of the tree grew fruits that became the sun and the moon, so we assume Ungoliant is only as powerful as the fruit that made the sun, because the moon's boring. Gandalf in his weakest state, Gandalf the Grey, could still rival, and this is a huge lowball of how powerful Durin's Bane is, considering Balrog stopping Ungoliant's very impressive. Gandalf could still hold his own against 1.3 tenatons worth of TNT. How much is that? Well, that's more than enough to destroy a goddamn planet, and that's not even as powerful as Gandalf the White, who stomped Saruman, or Gandalf's original true form, which is easily universal. But wait a minute. Gandalf didn't have planetary abilities in the film. What gives here? Well, it's simple. The book is not a visual medium, so you can't say in the book he didn't demonstrate that level of power with his attacks. It's all up to your imagination. But more importantly, the Istari, I believe, were not permitted to use their power against Sauron and his forces. So the reason he only demonstrated planetary power here is because the Balrog was not on Sauron's side, but on Melkor's, which he is permitted to use his power against. I know one or two things about Lord of the Rings. I just don't recall if that was... I think I read that they were not permitted to use their power. The only thing I actually looked up was the Balrog's speed, because I was just curious one time to see if the Balrogs were, or how powerful they were. He's also able to fire lightning in the book quite a lot, and Dumbledore's not dodging that. I think he protected Frodo from, mental attacks from Sauron, and I think the only way Dumbledore could win is with Avada Kedavra, assuming that he'd use it, and that he'd get to use it before he dies, and that if he could even hit with it, Gandalf could just block it with Glamdring, or tank it. I mean, Gandalf's race don't go to the land of the dead when they die. They just sort of regenerate. They just come back. They don't die. Avada Kedavra instant kill would not work on a divine being of universal power that does not die. I know I said this video wasn't a debate, but this is not a debate. I wanted to explain why I think this matchup is kind of stupid. Dumbledore's got no fucking chance. Gandalf, Mach 5.6 speeds at least. Easily able to block the Avada Kedavra and kill Dumbledore. But the real problem is that Death Battle, they're in a bind if they do this. They're probably going to. But either they stick with the movies, in which case they leave out a lot for Gandalf, and a bit for Dumbledore as well, I think. Or they use the books, and Dumbledore's fucked. Number 4, Renick vs Inuyasha. Really, I just know this battle's been requested a lot. I couldn't tell you why, but it's the most common request for the two of them. I don't really care about this matchup, I only know Rin. Number 3, Deku vs Gone Freaks. It's not impossible they'll do Deku vs KO from OK KO, Let's Be Heroes. But I think this is more likely. Not only is Deku vs Gone Freaks more requested, but neither of them have done something as stupid as the big explodey planet level feed from KO, which I've heard about. It's probably an outlier. I don't know. Is this consistent? I don't know. But Death Battle would use it if it is an outlier anyway, because it's a direct feed. And KO did it directly, unless there's some sort of buff he had when he did that. But yeah, Deku vs Gon, they're green, and that's the only connection I know because I haven't watched Hunter x Hunter. So, number 2, Madara Aizen. Madara vs Aizen. Honestly, I dread this battle. If I don't do a prediction, I'm just going to get nothing but people asking for me to do the prediction for 2 weeks. Every video, it's 6 videos, are just people asking, when's your prediction coming? And I'll have nothing to tell them when I do the prediction. I have nothing for it. Obviously, Death Battle's numbers, from a season they still refer to even today, would put Naruto above Ichigo, but then, how do they scale the relative power of Madara with the dual Bananarama Slam Banana Banana Blaze? How will they scale Aizen? How strong have either of them gotten? Naruto gotten any stronger in Boruto? Has there been any new Bleach material since the Death Battle in 2017? I don't know. How do their abilities work? I don't know. Can Aizen's weird, butterfly, is that even... I don't even know if this final form is butterfly. I don't fucking know. Can it match the perfect Susanoo? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they're gonna do it, eventually. I don't know what the connections are between them, but it's heavily requested, and they've done 1-minute melee matchups before anyway, so that won't stop them. I just hope they make it good and don't have a year-long gap between the two halves of the fight. Also, it's Madara vs Aizen. I refuse to call it Aizen vs Madara. Number 1, Saitama vs Popeye. Once One Punch Man is done, they want to use Saitama, they're probably going to put him against Popeye. I don't care about this match. I get bored of thinking about Saitama in versus, even as a joke now. There's always that inevitable horde of absolute morons who use arguments like, Saitama's a parody, so he automatically wins. Saitama one-shots everyone, which isn't even true. Several characters have survived his casual blows, so he wins.
Saitama is outer multi-megaversal because I said so, so he wins. Brrr.
But yeah, I see them doing it. I don't really care for it. People argue I'm wrong with Chuck Norris versus Saitama. Are they just stupid? Do they just not get the fucking joke? Is it? Give me a moment. If we can have people look at Chuck Norris versus Seiga Sancho, Segata being a character who his feats suck compared to Chuck Norris's statements. The feats in Chuck Norris's book are way beyond anything from Segata, unless you use the Archie Sonic thing. But even then, he got stomped by Archie Sonic, who wasn't even trying to kill him. So him taking hits from Archie Sonic is not viable as him being multiversal, because this is not only base Archie Sonic, but also base Archie Sonic holding back and still stomping him. So obviously Chuck should have easily won that, because none of Segata's feats come close to Chuck's, like one CNRK roundhouse kick and running fast enough to hit himself in the back of the head. But that doesn't matter now, does it? Because the joke is that they're both just defy physics, they defy reason. That's why there's no victor. That was the joke, and no one complains about that, do they? Well, most people don't. The sane people don't. So why are there people complaining about me when I do Chuck Norris vs. Saitama? Like, seriously, half the things in there I just made up off the top of my head. Random Chuck Norris jokes. He kicks Saitama so hard, he hurts the multiversal not Wizen not Boomstick. I can't get over it. Just, oh my god. So those are my predictions. How right am I? How wrong am I? I don't know. I can't see the future. The ones I'm most unsure of are Atrocitus vs. Red Hulk and Rin vs. Inuyasha, but the rest I'm fairly certain of. Obviously, Deku could fight KO and Saitama could fight Captain Underpants, so I'm just going to put it out there, but I also predict if it's not those two, it's going to be these two. Madara vs. Aizen I think is a shoo-in, obviously going to happen. I'm very certain they're going to do Dumbledore vs. Gandalf, very certain about Red Hood vs. Winter Soldier, especially because they said they were looking specifically, like in the Q&A for Booster vs. Cable, they looked specifically for battles where Marvel, I think, could win. They wanted to look for battles where Marvel could win. Something like that. And this is one where, on first glance, you'd think Marvel wins. Obviously, I don't know all the feats. I know Red Hood, overpowered Supergirl once, but that's definitely an outlier. They didn't use Black Canary overpowering Giganta to put her at universe level, just because Giganta matches Wonder Woman. Otherwise, you'd have universe level Black Canary, and that would be stupid. But, I don't know how else to put it. It's going to happen. On first glance, obviously, it looks like Winter Soldier wins. I definitely feel like they're going to do Totoro versus Zuko. I definitely think they're going to do Star versus Steven. And I'm very certain Mr. Fantastic versus Plastic Man's happening sometime. My mouth went really dry there, so that was all just incoherent mumbling. They're probably going to do Fantastic versus Plastic. The only one I'm unsure of, Atrocitus versus Red Hulk, and Rin versus Inuyasha, and really just Atrocitus versus Red Hulk, because that's kind of a weird one, but it's also a very, 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 very heavily requested one, and a very easy one to do. And it looks on paper like a Marvel win, right? Actually, no, it doesn't. They should know better. Given how they scaled Green Lantern and Hulk, obviously Atrocitus stomps based on the numbers they've already given, but that was Season 3 Hulk. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Bye.